you talk us through the Kroon Hall? Kroon Hall, have I pronounced it correctly?
Kroon Hall.
Kroon Hall. Particularly, you mentioned that there is buildings that are trying to be resource efficient and there are buildings that are trying to be biophilic, and how Kroon Hall tries to do both.
Mm-hmm. The site that which we chose for Kroon Hall was a site where the place was really degraded. It was a site where there was a non-compliant polluting power plant. It had a fairly steep gradient that made it very difficult for people to use. It had two large roads and parking areas that were, basically in, asphalt impervious surface, and it was really to put it in the classic terms, it was a dump, and so we wanted a building that could be constructed there that would regenerate and revive and restore the integrity and quality of that space, as well as be an extraordinary building itself, and that would contribute to the restoration of that environment and the creation of a place where people wanted to be. And so in doing so, we wanted the building to be connected to its landscape and to its cultural and historical context. And that's, again, very much about biophilia. Biophilia is, in the simplest terms, is our inherent need to affiliate with nature, with natural systems and processes that is instrumental in our health and productivity and well-being. But we also wanted the building to be energy efficient, to use recycled materials, to be recyclable, to be cut down on resource use.
We generate about 22% of our power used in this building from the solar panels that are on the south side of the building. This was actually a green roof, and underneath right here is a delivery area for trucks to come in and make deliveries and pick up all the recycling for what's known as Science Hill.
Yeah.
And then over here, and all the plants that are planted around here are indigenous plants. And what the green light is telling us is that it's okay for us to have our windows open today. Temperatures outdoors, and depending on the humidity, there are controls that actually tell us if it's okay to keep the windows open. So again, we can have fresh air in here as much as possible. And the building smells different than any other building I've ever been to, so they do a really good job of exchanging the air in here, and there are no volatile compounds. The paint, the carpeting, everything does not give off any discharges. There's a lot of poured concrete here, and what it does is it provides so much thermal mass that it keeps it pretty much at a 70-degree temperature all year round. And with the geothermal wells that we have out on the east side of the building, it allows us to stay cool, stay warm, and just kind of stay at a very constant temperature all the time. It's designed to take all of the water off the big gutters that we have here. They're 4 feet wide, and it winds up going through a distribution system that drops the water off here. It goes through basically the roots of the various plants that are in here, kind of clean the water somewhat, and then that comes, and then there's a 20,000 gallon water tank on the other side of this wall, right next to this new ginkgo tree that was just planted. And that 20,000 gallon tank is then used to flush the toilets in here. Welcome to the 3rd floor. The lighting coming from above, from both ends, coming in from the classrooms, draws people from all over Yale University. I mean, it really is a very special place. The lighting is designed in such a way that in many of the rooms it will dim depending on how bright it is outside. Stephen Kellert really did an amazing job with his students, who did a lot of the initial planning and concepts that they presented.
To reduce its ecological footprint, to export the least amount of polluting materials to the environment, whether it be toxics or carbon-emitting gases, and so we wanted it to minimize any kinds of adverse effects on the environment and mitigate damage was previously done, but at the same time we wanted the building not just to avoid these adverse consequences, but we wanted the building to also affirm and enrich the human experience within the building as a consequence of its connection to the world beyond ourselves, which we can call nature. And through natural lighting, natural ventilation, restored landscapes, inside-outside relationships, and shapes and forms and materials within the building that drew on natural principles and natural processes. And so the building is a combination of what we call low environmental impact design and what you could call positive environmental impact design, or what we call biophilic design. And the two together is what we call restorative environmental design. And we think we've accomplished that. Sorry.
That's all right.